Riff and Russ.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Riff and Russ.
Yeah, thank you guys. Welcome back. The last video did great, so thank everybody in advance for watching the last one.
Yeah, everyone was like, we love your dynamic. It felt like I was in a room, like at a party hearing you guys chat. I could just jump in on the conversation.
I like that. That's how it should be. Yeah, on this video topic, it's funny too because Russ and I went back and forth like 8 times with like, should it be about this or like specifically this? Or so what do we end up with, Russ? It's on your channel. What are you titling this video, do you think?
Now I'm trying to remember what we settled on because we went back and forth so much. NES games that people think are bad.
Yeah. Kind of like we started with like sequels that were bad and kind of went into the lines of like, okay, maybe just NES games that people kind of misunderstood, didn't like, kind of in that genre. But I think we're starting with sequels that people didn't like, correct?
Yeah, because that's where it spun off of. I could think of 3 off the top of my head of that, but then we were going to roll into some other games that people seem to hate on.
Let's do it. Let's see if these haters are adequate or if they need a fist fight for me and you, bro. So let's go.
Put up your dukes. So we'll start off right off the bat. Boom. Zelda 2, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Quite different from the first game when it came out.
And it was only a year after Zelda, and I think that's a huge thing. The Nintendo obviously kind of like launched us into like, obviously the Atari was big, arcades were big, but like I feel like Nintendo really launched people into that hardcore gamer home console type vibe. And I think you're getting Zelda 1 in 1986, and just 1 year later, you're on the cusp of like, okay, it's almost like back then, sequels were a brand new thing to where it's like, well, you pretty much, this is a new idea, a new concept, a sequel. So it's almost like I'm going to get the exact same thing, correct?
Right. If some people are like, shocked when it came out. Well, I would say shocked now. Like back then, you had nothing to compare to, where Zelda 1 came out, and then you're like, okay, I guess Zelda 2 is like this. Sure, why not?
Yeah. And I personally have to say that as much as I love the original Zelda, I never was one of those people that was like, oh, I don't like Zelda 2. I just think that I didn't ever really dive into it with any sort of like mindset to where when I played it, it was neither here nor there. Maybe that's your answer, that I didn't think it was anything great. But for me, at least at the time, it was neither here nor there. But I think as a lot of people getting older, I feel like I've come to appreciate it more for being kind of like the weird black sheep, so to say.
Right. And not too long ago, I'd say maybe 5 years ago or so, I kind of followed like a walkthrough, like a YouTube video, just to kind of me personally play through the game completely. Because there's a lot of cryptic stuff in it. If you didn't have the Nintendo power to find some secrets, then maybe you got stuck,
Yeah.
So that was a fun way just to kind of experience it, because it is so much different from the first one. And the music is fantastic in it.
Absolutely. It actually has, even though it's the same style of music, so to say, it has a very specific sound, and I wouldn't even know what to call it, but almost like an echoey sharp sound, to where I remember I was doing like a video game music challenge a long time ago, and I remember I literally did not know it was Zelda 2, but I got it right because I was like, that sound style, that like effect feels like something that's used a lot in Zelda 2, and it's really, I think, stands out, like staples itself as like that style of music.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, and it was just a little bit different being more RPG with it. The first one kind of had that RPG open world concept, but with Zelda 2, you actually had like leveling up. You can get a stronger power with your sword and magic abilities like that. So getting further in the game, if you didn't level up, you're going to die a lot. And it starts you back so far at the beginning, some people just end up giving up and not giving it a chance.
Yeah, I get it. And something you said earlier, too, kind of leads me to another game, is you mentioned needing Nintendo Power, needing a walkthrough, needing a guide. Castlevania 2.
Yeah, I got that.
And so Castlevania 2 is one of those ones where you look at it, and it's like, if you go, there it is. If you go look at gameplay, like, right, just straight up look at gameplay on YouTube, it's like, oh, it's the same game. It's Castlevania. It's what we expected. It looks like the same thing as Castlevania 1. But I think as the old, the long story of the YouTube talking about Castlevania 2 is that so many people gave up because you didn't know what to do.
Right. And again, it had that open world concept where you're going town to town and you have to try to find the mansions locate Dracula's body parts. It wasn't cut dry like the first one. Very arcade feel, where it's just like move left to right, fight the boss. Move right to left, fight the boss.
Yeah.
They're like, let's try something else. Let's make a more adventure out of it. Maybe if you didn't have the Nintendo Power, it was, or if you didn't read the manual, because if you read the manual, it gives you a little backstory, and it tells you the people in the villages are afraid or cursed, so they're going to lead you astray. They're not going to always tell you, the right places to go, which
what
then
a horrible night to have a curse.
Confuse people, and they're like, I don't know where to go. This game stinks.
Yeah. Well, and it's crazy because, yes, there was Nintendo Power available, which we all got as kids, or a lot of us did, and there is manuals, but I have to say, as a kid, I definitely would read Nintendo Power here and there, but manuals, even though I would look at them and smell them and treasure them and cherish them, I was always just looking at pictures.
Right, yeah. You bring it to school, and you're, like, studying the pictures, and you're like, I can't wait to get home and play Nintendo.
Yeah, there's so many YouTube reviewers out there, they do videos, and they're like, look in the manual, it says this, and I'm like, how did I never look in the manual and see that it says this or that, you know what I mean?
Right, no, absolutely. Well,
by the way, I am not wearing boxers, I am in extremely short shorts. These are not boxers, okay?
Short shorts.
Yeah. So extremely.
We're comfy here.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was going to say, this is a great game, though, to have, like, as a rental game back in the day, because it had a password system. So you can play it for the 3 days, on the weekend that you rented it, keep your password, and then, maybe Monday through Thursday you're looking at Nintendo Power, figuring out where to go, talking on the playground. Did you get Simon's Quest? Where did this? I need this crystal.
Yeah, dude.
So it's the anticipation. The weekend's here. I can rent that game again. I have my password.
Or those days are gone.
Maybe there was a password already in the manual when you rented the game, so you can use that person's game. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I recently got a fanny pack from NES Addict, and inside of it was someone's old, like, passcodes and stuff, and I was like, that is cool. And it was a Game Boy little fanny pack. Yeah, it's crazy because, like, the schoolyard conversations aren't a thing anymore. But not that people don't want to have those. Well, first of all, school's not really in session right now. But second of all is all of that's been exposed on the internet. If you get frustrated in a game nowadays, you're like, I'm frustrated. I gave it 20 minutes. I don't know where to go. YouTube.
Or even, I mean, there's plenty of walkthroughs, too, with websites that you can just follow, too, that people do that. Or follow a full walkthrough YouTube video.
Yeah.
Or just watch it and not even play the game.
Yeah, yeah, that's a big thing. Russ, what's the next one? Throw me another one, bro. Another one.
I got, I don't want to jump into the big gun yet.
Uh-oh.
But here's one a lot of people, I would say, we're straying away from sequels briefly, but it's a misunderstood game.
Ooh, I can do a misunderstood one after you. Let's do that. Okay, go ahead.
Jaws.
Okay, so speak to me, because I am one of those misunderstood, led astray Jaws. Didn't hate it by any means, but definitely was like, all right, I'm done. I never hated it, never went back to it. Just kind of like, that was cool. Tell me, Russ, what did I misunderstand?
I mean, I think it's great that they took the movie property of it and kind of stayed faithful to it. You're in a ship out in the ocean, going around, and you're fighting Jaws. You see Jaws in there, and I think it's just people don't know how to play it. They don't realize you need to level up your ship when you go to the docks, collecting the seashells that fall to the floor
down by the seashore. Yeah.
Yes. And then
Russ, I never knew you had to level up your ship.
Yes, yeah, and you have to go back and forth to each dock. So once you do that, you become stronger as your diver, and then you can actually take Jaws' power down. So it has that RPG element where you need to level up.
I like it, Russ.
But once you know what to do, you could beat the game in like 10 minutes.
Got it.
Or so.
Yeah. Well, okay, so I have one that I think is very misunderstood, and it's been made fun of and mocked, but Bible Adventures.
Oh, okay. I actually got that a few years back. My friend found me a complete in-box version of the game.
So I grew up playing it, grew up in a Christian household. My parents were like, hey, let's play Bible games. These are going to be awesome. Right. I genuinely remember playing it as a kid and not thinking like, as a kid, you're almost like, this is lame. It's religious. You're just trying to make it church.
Right.
But I honestly was like, dude, this game's awesome. And it comes with Noah's Ark, Baby Moses, David and Goliath. But Noah's Ark is, for me, where the fun was. You go around It's really slippery controls, but you got to collect all the animals. You got to bring them on the ark. You got to throw rocks at them.
You could pile them up, a couple sheep.
Yeah, and that was so fun. You carry around like 30 animals, and obviously Noah is jacked because he is carrying like oxen and buffalo and sheep on his head.
Right over his head.
Yeah, and you can't catch the pigs because they're too slippery.
Right.
You got to throw a rock at them and knock them out, and I like to think that's how Noah really did it back in the day.
Possibly.
But yeah, I love that game. I actually got it signed by the creator, whose name is Brenda Huff.
Wow, okay.
At an expo years ago. And she was such a sweetheart, too.
No kidding.
And I told her that I played the game religiously, and it really made her laugh.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I mean, I definitely remember playing it back in the day and thinking it's not terrible. There is definitely worse NES games out there.
It's like how I felt with Jaws, probably. Where I was like, okay,
Right, maybe people don't know you gotta, bring the animals up to where the...
Or throw rocks at them, or lure them in with bananas. Yeah, stuff like that.
With the monkeys, I think, you had to, like, lure the monkeys in.
Yeah.
You gotta read the manual.
No, you never read the manual, Russ. Yeah. Do you have another misunderstood one, Russ, or you want to move out of misunderstood?
Let me see. Someone on Twitter reached out. T-Belly.
T-Belly, the man.
He went with, not really misunderstood, but a lot of people probably hate this game because it is basically NES hard, and that's Ghosts and Goblins.
Yeah, I understand what T-Belly's saying. If you ask me if I love Ghosts and Goblins, it's funny, my brain is always like, of course I do.
Right.
But in reality, I almost never go back to play it, and I'd only go back to play like the Genesis or the Super Nintendo version.
Okay, yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Because of the NES
like Super
hard
Ghouls
factor.
and Ghosts or...
Yeah, and I've realized, like, I've played the NES version so many times in my life, but I've probably never got past, like, stage 2, on just, like, a normal play session of playing it.
Right. And I would say it's based off of the arcade game, and the arcade game basically was made to get your quarters, so it's supposed to be hard. You want to keep putting in quarters to play, where they ported it over to the NES, and now it's like, okay, you keep dying, and you're starting back.
Yeah.
Not so much, but it becomes frustrating. You only have 2 hits in the game. If you have your armor on, Arthur gets knocked down, and then he's in his underwear.
Always a little funny, too. Like, he's in his underwear under there. All right. Notice, like, pink hearts or something, too, like red heart boxers. Classic. He wears Joe boxers, And
I would say, I mean, the details are great with the graphics on there and everything.
Yeah.
But it's just so hard. I know Megadan definitely kills it on that as well.
Well, those guys are like in that level of like, obviously Megadan's like next, like God level, something up. I don't know what happened. He was blessed by Noah's Ark back in the day or something. But yeah, T-Belly and those guys, they're good at, they're better at NES games than I'd say like your average gamer,
Right.
So it makes it easier. For me, I still do like the game. I would never go as far as to say I don't like the game, but I definitely would say it'd be a quick, like, beat the first level or 2, and then that's it.
Right, absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, yeah.
To jump back to licensed movie games.
Okay. Is this misunderstood or a sequel that nobody likes?
This would be, misunderstood. Yeah, it would be on that category. Captain Algebra reached out to us on Twitter, and he said, Back to the Future.
Well, I hate it.
I want to love it because I love the movie.
Because it's Back to the Future.
And it's Back to the Future. And you kind of got Marty, and there's a skateboard in it.
Yeah, that makes it cooler.
So you're like, okay. One thing I did find, like an Easter egg, which blew my mind, where something must have happened when they were programming it, and the music, if you slow it down enough, it actually sounds like Huey Lewis in the News, like from...
Oh, did you tell me that? Somebody's told me that before.
I saw it on a video somewhere, so I might have mentioned it, but like,
maybe
it just goes so fast, and you're like, what is this music? But if it's slowed down, it actually sounds good, and you're like, okay, this kind of ties it into the property a little bit better.
So I have a theory with people that like these games, and there's nothing wrong with it, obviously, to each their own, but... It's almost like, yes, there is to each their own, but is it a good game? Let's just say no for the sake of saying no. Most people are going to say no, it's not a good game. Mm-hmm. But it's almost, I feel like there's almost any video game, if it's bad, if you were like, I'm going to sink time into this and figure it out.
Okay,
it's almost like any game can become decent or good to a level if you've got to like some sort of mastery of the game.
Right, you put the
You know what I'm
time and the
saying?
effort into it, or the research, and you're like,
Yes.
okay, I can actually get somewhere now
Yeah.
in this game. I'm having fun. You just have to get past that point.
Exactly. Versus a Mario 3 game where everybody turns it on. They're like, oh, this is pretty basic for all of us. This is fun off the
Right.
bat.
Easy to do.
Everyone's in agreement, you know.
Yes, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah. Are you jumping into Twitter? Or you want me to go on?
You want to shoot one?
Yeah, I'm going to shoot one. I know you've said you've never played it. I asked you before, but a sequel, going back to sequel, the original idea, that I feel like a lot of people didn't like, and that is Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers 2. And I think the reason that a lot of people didn't like it, including myself, even though I enjoy it and I've beat it multiple times,
Okay.
is that because compared to the first one, they didn't do like what Zelda 2 did or Castlevania 2 did. They didn't really switch much. The graphics are a little bit different. You can tell there's a little less quality in them.
Okay.
It's basically the same game, just different levels. But everything you could tell is just dropped a little bit in like the value of what the game is. The music's a little bit worse. It's still kind of good. The gameplay's a little bit worse.
Yeah,
you fight like Mecha Fat Cat as the final boss versus regular Fat Cat.
Okay.
And it's a good game, but I think in comparison to the second one, it sucks because I feel like if it wasn't Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers 2, and it was just a different game called like Squirrels Fight the Cat.
Right.
People would be like, dude, Squirrels Fight the Cat, it's a great NES game.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And
So
I wonder
think
did they rush it out to get the sequel out, and maybe that's why they spent less time developing it or something?
I think there was something with the development a long time ago. I can't remember what it was. I mean, I think it was still... I'm going to sound like an idiot, but I'm 99% sure it was still a Capcom game.
Right.
Go ahead, you can talk. I'm going to look. Oh, I have it right here. Yeah, it's Capcom. Yeah, it's
still Capcom. Okay.
But, it's by Make Software is who developed it, though. Ah, there you go. The development wasn't by Capcom. The publisher was.
So they probably had, here's the code, or like most of the code, and you can tweak it. Yep. And they're like, all right, we'll just tweak this, do this, and...
You son of a gun!
Put it out.
yeah. Throw it up! That's a saying we used to have on our channel back in the day. Is this video good? Or we're like all debating. We're like, just throw it up! And we'd all yell, throw it up. So, put it out. Let the world decide if it gets good, you know. So.
That's it.
All right, go ahead, Rusty. Hit me with something, bro.
All right. I'm trying... so like you were saying before, I'm putting the effort in to this game and playing it so much to where I'm... attempting to like it a lot more.
Make it be good.
Friday the 13th on NES.
Okay. I will give you on that game. I love the music and the way the game is laid out as far as gameplay. I wouldn't say I love the game, but I definitely get a big rush of good old nostalgia bumps with the music and the sounds and the layout of the game, the way it's presented, the way it looks.
Like, I think they have great locations in it. You have the campsite, like a creepy woods, the lake in there, and even the atmosphere. Like, for like a horror game on the NES, there wasn't much to compare to.
Yeah.
They had Sweet Home, but that was in Japan only.
Like as homebrews over here.
Right. So... not a lot of kids played that, so when it was like, oh, Friday the 13th, let's play this horror game. Like, all right, let's get into it. And, maybe because Jason was purple in it, the kids weren't as scared or thought it was silly.
I feel like if you didn't say that, I'm trying to think if I was a kid, if I ever played a game besides that I would have considered like, oh, this is a horror game. You know what I mean?
Maybe I would say, like, sticking to the NES, maybe like Shadowgate.
Okay, yeah, I don't know why that didn't feel like a horror to me. Maybe because it wasn't like a horror movie I watched as a kid or something, you know what I mean?
Right. Where you're associating, okay, I've seen Friday the 13th movies, now I'll play the game, and you kind of know what Jason's like or whatever. There was no Shadowgate movie to compare it to with the NES game.
Yeah, you're like interpreting it in your mind as what, Jason is.
Right.
So to say. And yeah, in Sweet Home too, it's like, even though it's a pretty cool game, it's a great game actually, but it didn't even come into my radar until I was like, in my like late 20s.
Oh, okay.
Like, Sweet Home. Like, okay, we have a game. I didn't know that. I got a homebrew of it and it was cool. It was red and bloody and everything.
Jeez.
All right, what you got for me, Russ?
All right, on Twitter again, we got Eric H says, I still enjoy Bill and Ted's excellent video game adventure, even though it gets stupid difficult towards the end.
Remind me, because I try to wipe that game out of my memory. Is this the one where you have to like do like the codes and stuff in the beginning and like turn the things and make it like?
Well, that's in a part in the game. You do get dropped in like a overview.
Isometric?
Isometric.
I hate that game.
I personally never played it. I've seen reviews of it, and I know you have to go around and find clues and bring them back to the correct timeline, and then it goes to you're in the time machine and going through the circuits of time.
I've definitely played it. I don't like it. It is one where I straight up, as even a younger child, was like, I don't like this, Mom and Dad. You know?
You're like, I'd rather watch the movie instead.
Yeah. I'd rather pluck my eyes out. But hey, to each their own. Again, whoever that was who enjoys it, I'm glad you enjoy it.
Yeah, Eric said he still enjoys it, so he's obviously put the time into it to make it enjoyable.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hit you with one then.
Okay.
I'm gonna rotate for you. So I'm gonna go with pretty much games that I wouldn't even say are misunderstood, but nobody likes, and I'll kind of explain kind of what we were talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. And this is real. This is for me and Ricky. Dragon's Lair on the NES is horrible by all standards. But Ricky and I found the difficulty so hard and the timing and the control so hard that we genuinely enjoyed and put a lot of time into trying to beat it as like broken as it is.
Wow.
Horrible mechanics game. I mean, by every standard, it is garbage. But it almost gave us like a level of like, it's like the first room is like literally like 2 jumps and a duck. But it probably took us an hour and a half to get past it.
Wow.
But we enjoyed it because it was so much. And I'll throw a double Pete at you. Same thing goes for Cheetahman 2.
Oh, okay.
The game is literally broken. You can't get past a certain level. But it's so bad. There's like no hit detection on the game. And it made us be like, let's just have bets how far we can get in this game.
Right.
And we honestly probably played it for like 3-4 hours. And the music loops for all of eternity. But yeah.
Well, that's it. You're sitting, you're doing some couch co-op and you're having that motivation with the other person to be like, let's make a bet, let's keep playing to see how far we could go. If you're just sitting in your room alone playing it, you probably get frustrated within 5 to 10 minutes and you're like,
for sure.
I have no motivation. I'm giving up.
For sure. Yeah, if I was playing a single player, I definitely would not have had the same experience. I would have given it 5 seconds. I mean, like, this is stupid. But which is another point, maybe another video, games that are better couch co-op that aren't made to be couch co-op.
There we go.
Yeah.
Write it in the notes.
Yeah. Well, I have none. Yeah. Go ahead, Russ. What you got, bro?
Let me see. I'm going to jump back to Twitter and see what people were saying here. Someone mentioned Monster Party.
Oh, yeah. I like Monster Party. Who developed Monster Party? Was that Konami? No. Am I thinking of a different one?
I want to say it has purple in the cover of it.
Well, I'm either thinking... Oh, I'm thinking Monsters in My Pocket.
Right. Monsters in My Pocket was Konami. Monster Party, you play with the kid and he has like a baseball bat and you get to a certain point in the level and then it like gets all crazy and there's like running legs and...
And that game's actually awesome.
I played it, I think 2 years ago at my buddy George's house, and it was near Halloween, so I was like, let's play a Halloween game. I was like, I never beat Monster Party, let's pop this in. And we had a good time playing it. It was definitely frustrating at some points, but like you said, we're doing couch co-op. He's egging me on. We're like, we got to get to the end of this. And it's cool that they have references to a lot of like pop culture horror icons or whatever.
Totally.
But they had to tweak it so they don't get sued because they didn't have the rights.
Yeah, but you understood as, young Russ what they were trying to do.
Right, you saw the plant and you're like, all right, Little Shop of Horrors.
Little Shop of Horrors. That's the first one I thought of. Which I went to the fair last night and someone had a giant cake made. You like that because you do baking stuff.
Yeah,
a cake like as big as my body, dude, and it was all Little Shop of Horrors and it was super cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was real. I should have taken a picture. It was really impressive.
You sent me a picture of the ride, not the cake.
Yeah, sorry, Russ. You just got a picture of the ride. We were supposed to do it last night. We were supposed to podcast last night, but we were both busy. And then Russ just got back from a Limp Bizkit concert.
I was doing it for the Nookie. It was awesome. I was stoked to go. My friend was like, hey, I got an extra ticket to Limp Bizkit. Do you want to go?
Hey, bro, you don't got to lie to me, bro. I know you have a shrine in your other room just of Limp Bizkit.
I was going to wear my red Yankee cap, but
That's literally, there's a bunch of kids at my son's school who wear red backwards hats, and I'm like, you guys don't know, but you are so Limp Bizkit.
Now,
who's that?
Fred Durst looks so different now. I don't know if you've seen.
I saw some memes about it or something somewhere.
I was like, wow, good for him. Sure.
Yeah.
Lord.
Okay, I got another misunderstood one. If you want to, so you can get time to pull something else out.
Yeah.
Have you ever played roller games?
No.
So roller games is really different. It's like a side-scrolling beat 'em up by Ultra/Konami.
Okay.
And you're on roller skates the whole time, but the sound effects are great and the mechanics are surprisingly good for being on like roller skates the whole time, and you can move back and forth, up and down, left and right, all that jazz. There is a lot of people that don't like the game. I personally don't understand why. I've always liked it. Mm-hmm. But what I didn't know, Russ, and anybody who's watching right now, do yourself the biggest favor and look up Roller Games TV show, because that's what it's based on.
Really?
Russ, it is epic. It is everything you could imagine from the 80s and 90s that you want to see. I mean, it's men in the spandex Ultra 80s, and they're going around. It's like American Gladiators.
I was going to say that.
And dude, they're like in wrestling too. It's like drama. They're like and they toss each other over the rails, and they're skating. They beat each other up, and the crowd's going wild. And I'm just like, this is amazing. It's everything that you would think when you think of just wild 80s TV show. It's absolutely beautiful.
I'm excited.
It's what the game's based on.
That's what it's based on. I'm looking through Twitter too, and Nintendo mentioned Roller Games, so he enjoys that one as well.
Wow. Okay, there you go. Yeah, because
some people know
tell someone that, they're like, that game sucks, and I'm like, I feel like I never even got like what part of the game sucked, but hey, to each their own.
I don't know. I definitely remember the cover of it. I just never was like, hey, let me pick this game up.
Yeah, and I think the logo for the game is like the exact same logo for the TV show, if I remember correctly.
Okay, interesting. Yeah. Wow.
Copy and paste. Yeah. So
there we go.
You got to try it out, Russ.
I'll do it, definitely. Okay, I got one for you here. And
let's hear it. It's
funny with this one because I want to say he's making a comeback. So we got Waves and Games said, Yo Noid. Not sure people hate it or not, but he enjoys it. And I just seen a commercial where Domino had automated robot trucks delivering pizza, and the Noid is back, and it shows him trying to stop the truck, and I was like,
Russ, on my way to Southeast Game Exchange, I beat Yo Noid on a handheld emulator.
Really?
Yeah. So literally a month ago, bro. So it's hard. It's a hard NES
I probably
game.
got to level 3 or 4, and it amps up with the difficulty. For sure.
Pretty quickly.
But it's a unique game. It's a cool platformer, and it has mini games in between where you're eating the pizza against the.
Oh yeah, that part I didn't like, but yes, the rest of the games I do like. Yeah.
It's it mixes it up, I guess.
True. I just lost every time, so yeah.
That's what save states are for. No.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know how to do it yet on the emulator.
Oh, okay.
How do I save this thing? Which shows you I beat it the real way.
There we go. You put the time in.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you're annoyed. Could almost add it to fast food themed games on the NES.
I like that. Ooh, MC Kids. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah,
that's a great game, by the way. Yeah, Yo Noid too. I've always thought he is. If you zoom into what he looks like, he is devastatingly ugly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's supposed to be. I guess purposely made to look terrifying.
Yeah, but I think even the Domino's ads, he's hideous. You're like, oh god, when you actually see his face, what are you doing? Who are you trying to scare the kids? This what Jason looks like, under the mask.
Yeah. Pizza the Hut from.
Yeah, Pizza the Hut. Oh yeah, that's hard to look at too.
Oh my god.
Another misunderstood one for me, I think, and so this is an interesting topic too. It almost goes into the level of the LJN Defender. I almost feel like a lot of games that are looked at in a specific light are based off people's perception of how the AVGN, which, he had so much clout in the retro world, especially, when he was the only one kind of doing this type of thing, where if he hated it, it was like, that game sucks. And many people are like, I've never played it, but it sucks because AVGN said. And I was going to talk about TMNT. What'd you do? Did you knock something over?
No, my camera stopped recording, so I could
Russ, his camera stopped recording. I was still recording,
we're back.
though, so I'm still here.
That's good. You're still going.
But I was talking about TMNT, the original TMNT. That's where I was going with this. Because there is, I feel like a lot of people are turning the corner. But I remember, when I first got on YouTube and I started talking about the original TMNT on NES, people were like, dude, that game's whack. And I'm like, it is? Like,
I always thought it was great.
Me too.
I mean, you had you had the turtle van. So you could play as all the
top down
turtles,
view, and then you go into platforming.
Right.
An underwater level, which I don't think is that hard. And
it was, yeah.
And I love the music. So
good, yeah.
I love it.
I mean, we were probably all expecting to get something more like the arcade game. So when the second one came out, they were like, okay, here's a beat 'em up.
And that's what a lot of people say is like, oh, I was expecting, but I think when I must not have, I never was expecting, like, in my brain, like, oh, it's gonna be like this. I just saw Ninja Turtles, and which, by the way, on the cover, isn't it like the comics where they're all red?
Yes.
I think so. Maybe.
Yes.
Goes to Google. Let me just tell you from my memory what it is. Yes,
my friend,
they're all red.
David Apuzzo has one of the cards signed by Kevin Eastman.
That's cool.
And another one signed by the guy that did the comic book art of that. That's sick. Which it's based on.
Sick.
So
April O'Neil left a comment on our channel, the real one.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, like the real. She has a YouTube channel now. That's why she has like podcasts and stuff.
What episode was it?
I don't. It was something. There was something with I think Ninja Turtles in there, but she didn't even comment about that. She was just like, "Oh, this is such a cool video. You guys are like our TV show." And I looked at it. I'm like, "Oh, who's this?" And I looked closer, and I'm like, "Huh?" And then I clicked on her channel. I'm like, "Oh, it's her!"
Wow.
My '90s. This is the '90s, guys. Before my wife, my '90s brain was like, boing.
I will say for Halloween, we're trying to do, if you guys haven't seen on my channel, I did a Casey Jones cosplay.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm getting Steph to dress up like April, so we're doing Casey and April for Halloween.
Steph? Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
She's cool. I like Steph.
We'll see how that turns out. Yeah. We'll see pictures.
Well, keep us updated. All right, Russ, what you got for me, bro? I'm running low on my... Oh, actually, I got more a big one, but...
You got one more big one?
Yeah. What you got?
Let's see. We got back on Twitter. Someone said, where was it? Legacy of the Wizard.
Yes! Who said that? That's my hero.
Stuart,
you are awesome. Legacy of the Wizard is a RPG style platforming style dungeon exploring game where you have a whole bunch of different characters. Such beautiful music. Who makes that game? I
can picture the cover.
Yeah.
With like a sword.
Oh, Broderbund. It's Broderbund.
Broderbund.
I'm pretty sure it's Broderbund. Let me just, again, look off my memory. Legacy of the Wizard. NES. I mean, let me think a little harder. I'm remembering as we speak. Broderbund. Woo! I have the mid memory. But yeah, such a cool video game. It's not for everyone. There's a little more exploring than a lot of people like to do, but I think the graphics are so cute too. Almost reminds me of Goonies 2 in a weird way on the NES. But
okay.
Yeah. Good game, Russ.
Nice. I gotta check that. I haven't checked that one out. So that one in the rollerblading game, I guess, is on my to-do list.
Legacy of the Wizard scares. I feel like it's one of those games that one day is going to be worth more money than it is because it's definitely a hidden gem.
Oh, okay.
You know, those games that nobody ever talked about. Then 10 years down the road, you're like, why is this game $150? You know,
right?
So
price is just jacked up.
Yeah. Well, I'll go with my last one, Russ. However many more you have, I'll go with. But
I just have the one big one we were going to talk about.
Oh, go ahead.
Left.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Or did you have a quick one? Or
no, that was the one because I yell
one.
at people for this one.
Dun, dun, dun. One of the best Super Mario games right here. Super Mario Brothers 2.
Or the best.
Could be the best.
I never understood. And there is a lot of people that love it now. And this is what happens in the retro world, right, Russ? This is what people do, Russ. We've been around long enough to be able to call these people out. Back in the day, people will say what's popular, which was, hey, Mario 2, man, it's not even a Mario game. It's whack. You can't even jump on people
and kill them. Panic.
Yeah. If you jump on someone, it doesn't kill them, bro. So it's not even like, it sucks. And now everyone's coming around like, I mean, I guess it's pretty cool. And I'm like, I've been saying this game has been amazing since day one. Just only recently would I say Mario Odyssey beat out that game for me. But otherwise, that game has held that number one spot for me in a Mario game. And
it has such influence on the Mario franchise in itself,
Yeah.
maybe people don't realize, like, Bombs came from Mario 2.
Yep, the 4-player selection of Peach, Toad, Mario, Luigi. That
Right.
became like playable characters in like I think the Wii ones and some other one, the 3D world.
And then
or whatever.
even Luigi had his own like attributes. He got
had,
he
like, the
could jump
squiggly
higher.
legs.
And squiggly legs,
Yep.
like that came from that game. In Mario 1, he was just a palette swap of Mario.
Whoever chose Toad though? Why?
If you wanted to dig fast, like
I
I've seen
know,
it
but-
in speed runs.
But get out of here, Toad. No.
Yeah, I don't think I ever chose Toad.
Yeah.
But then also like the Super Mario Brothers Super Show with the cartoon, so many elements
Wart.
were pulled from Mario 2.
Wart,
And
the character.
Oh yeah,
from...
Mauser was in there.
Oh, Mauser. What's the... I always forget the snake's name.
I know. That's what I
Is
was
that
gonna say.
Triclyde? Might be Triclyde.
Oh, I think it is.
Okay.
It would make
Yeah,
sense because he has 3 heads.
Yeah. And so Mario Bros. 1 came out in 85, and then Mario Bros. 2 came out in 88, which is interesting because I feel like a bigger gap than I would have expected for, like, North America. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I would feel like they would have pushed, or maybe the one that was supposed to be, that went to Japan, Super Mario Brothers 2, maybe that was supposed to be 86. I don't know my timeline exactly on that, but in America we got 85 Mario, Super Mario 2, we got 88.
Yeah.
And then I think we got Mario 3 in Japan, I think in 88 also.
That I don't have notes on that.
No, I think so. This is me speaking off my head.
Yeah.
I think that in Japan, I think we technically got Mario 2 and 3 the same year, but not in North America for both.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
So, but where do you rank Mario 2 in the Great 3 on the NES? 1, 2, 3. Where do you put Mario 2?
It teeters, but it's either 1 or 2.
Nice. And Mario 3, I'm guessing, is the swapper.
Right.
Got it. Okay, Mario 1.
Right.
Sorry, you were great, but you don't.
But I said it's so much fun playing it, and then plus it had a big impact being the cover of the first Nintendo Power.
And the last.
Right.
Yeah.
Which I have over here.
Oh, here he goes. Russ is going. Hey, Russ, what you doing? Ooh, what would I steal? If I was in Russ's home, what would I steal? Probably the play choice, to be honest. Oh, sorry. I was just telling the audience if you really were gone, what I would steal if I was at your house. I chose the play choice.
The play choice, wheel it out.
Yeah. Oh, that's so
Bam.
cool, man.
There we go.
Oh, you know what I never noticed?
Yeah.
How did I never notice that they swapped out Wart for Bowser?
Oh, right, yeah.
How dare they? I always wanted Wart in Smash Bros.
Right?
But we got him as like the little, what do they call it, spirits or whatever. Which is... doesn't count. Yeah. It's useless.
Blast.
But
Yeah, bring Wart back.
I just was saying your name and I accidentally called you Wart. I'm like, hey, Wart.
Hey, Wart. At least
Wart.
it wasn't Blippy this episode.
Yeah. By the way, I showed my wife. I'm like, doesn't this guy look like Blippy? She's like, wait, who's Blippy? And I showed her a picture. She's like, dear God, is he not Blippy? I was like, no, he's not. So, but yeah.
Hey,
You got any more, Russ? Or are we out of here, bro?
I think that might be everything.
Well, it is up to the audience now, the fate of the audience. What is either misunderstood? The big topic was sequels, that were misunderstood, and then we just went to that misunderstood territory. So,
All together, yeah.
yeah, let us kind of know what you guys think is those ones where you're just like, hey, what the heck? Why does this game get hate? I like it. Ooh, Legacy of Kain? No, Kain? What's it? Legend of Kage. I like that game. That's
Legend of Kage, yeah.
side note.
That's the one that plays like Mega Man, yeah?
It's kind of like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. You like,
I'm confused.
and you jump really
What's
high.
the one where you have... Oh, yeah. There's one, I can't remember that. Is it Crystal Palace?
Crusade. Oh,
Crystal something.
there's
Snap.
Legend. There's something that Conquer the Crystal Palace. You're
Right.
messing with my head. Something like that. Yeah.
Right,
Wow, so
and that one plays like Mega Man, and you have a dog, too.
let me just try to go from memory. Conquest of the Crystal Palace.
That's the one.
Is that like Mega Man though? I don't even remember. See, it's so funny how like I literally played every NES game. Well, because I also did like an emulation thing with Ricky before we started our show where we played every one.
Just
But your brain
5 minutes
sometimes
of
goes
it.
like, wait, was that one or is that
Confusing it,
Because
yeah,
I
overload.
was confusing Clash at Demon Head with Conquest of Crystal Palace.
Oh, okay.
Let's just stop here while we're ahead, Russ.
That's it. It was a good episode.
If we were ever ahead. But yeah, that's it. Russ, why don't you send us off into the world?
Yeah, guys, if you enjoyed the episode, be sure to hit the thumbs up button. We're going to be trying to do these every Saturday, bringing you a new Riff and Russ episode. If you got topic ideas, let us know or reach out to me on Twitter, just at RussLyman. And, as always, keep your world fun bit by bit. Clink.